Well, I hear we have another caller, so let's take that. Hello?
Hi, so I have a math question.
All right.
Oh, great. What's your question?
A 3x4 rectangle is inscribed in a circle. What would the circumference of the circle be?
Oh, I can take that
Oh,
one. Geometry
okay.
question. I'm going to actually just go ahead and sketch one. Are you watching right now?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try to draw that. So what we should know is a rectangle inscribed in a circle is actually going to be, let's see how this turns out, something like this, right? Where all four corners of our rectangle touch the outside of the circle. So when you said the measurements of the rectangle are 3 feet by 4 feet?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and label that. Now, and you're looking for the circumference of this actual circle, right?
Yeah.
So do you remember the equation for circumference of a circle?
Not sure.
Okay, so that is actually the circumference is pi times d. And I'm going to kind of go off track here for a second. Do you know what pi means or what it represents?
It's an infinite number.
It is, and I think that's mostly what everybody knows about pi. But pi, do you know what it represents?
It's a ratio.
It's a ratio, right? So pi is actually, because everybody always forgets these equations, it's actually a ratio of the circumference to the diameter.
Yeah.
Which, if you do this calculation, if you punch in your calculator, you get 3.1415. And like you said, it goes infinitely. So the interesting thing about this, it doesn't matter how big or how small the circle is. You can talk about, just a giant circle. You can talk about the smallest circle you can imagine, and this ratio is true. So when we talk about circumference, if you actually solve this for circumference, and I'm doing this kind of quickly, that's how you get the circumference is pi times d. So when we're looking at this problem, we actually need to know the the diameter of this circle. But right now, all we know about is the measurements, the dimensions of this inscribed rectangle. Well, the other thing that you should know about this is that when we have a rectangle inscribed, the diameter or the diagonals of this go straight through the center of the circle, right? So and I'm going to erase one of these to make it a little simpler, but we have the center right here, right? So what are all the angles of a rectangle? Like, what's the measurement of all the angles? You still there?
Oh, what?
So a rectangle has like all the corners. What are the angles formed? Do you know what the measurement is?
Don't know.
Okay, that's all right. So it's a 90-degree angle. So we have basically what we have here is two right triangles. And we need to know this diameter across the circle. So when we have a right triangle, if I know two of the sides, we can use our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And then Pythagorean theorem, and solve for that diagonal, which is what we really need. So in this case, we'll say 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. And then we simplify and we just solve for c. So we get 9 plus 16 equals c squared. And we just continue solving, and you end up with c equals 5. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you know this entire diameter from here all the way over here is 5. We know the circumference is pi times the diameter. So the circumference of this circle is going to be 5 pi. Or if you did it in your calculator, I don't know, it's going to be approximately 15.70 something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Helped. Thanks for calling.
I like that, where you kind of worked backwards. You're like, okay, to find circumference, I need these pieces of information. So how am I going to find those pieces of information? It was good.
Which I think is a good way of problem solving. I think sometimes you read a problem and it's really confusing. But once you draw everything out and you start working through it, then it makes a lot more sense.
I know this, I don't know this. How do I find it?
And the origins of things like pi, so it's not like there's just this number that math teachers give you, and you have
Yeah.
to use it to find this stuff. But there's actually it comes from a certain.
There's
place,
a reason for it. Yeah.
Not just made up.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Come on, push the button.
You know
Yeah, you want to.
Do it.